What's up, guys? I'm your host, Joe McGowan. We're here again for week 15 with my man, David Miller. You ready to hit it, buddy?
Let's do it. I'm excited.
Let's do it. Number 5 this week, we have Cleveland with Johnny Football. Johnny Manziel had a pretty good week last week. I think the best week in his NFL career. Came off the bench, played a really good game. They're heading on the road. They're going against Seattle with Russell Wilson, who I think has entered into the MVP race now with Brady, Newton, probably Palmer is in there too, because Russell Wilson has just been on fire the last 4 or 5 games. 14.5 points, monster number. Is this a monster EV pick? What do we got?
Yeah, this is a pick. Basically, the preseason line on this game was about 10.5. The advanced line, 13.5. Open 14. Now it's 14.5. It has basically what I like to call a perfect graph. And since Seattle's been running so hot lately, even though Lynch is out, I don't feel that's really factored in, because basically when the money keeps coming in on these teams, even if half the team's out, they don't really adjust for it. And so I feel 14.5 is a lot here. It's a lot. So it's more of a play against Seattle than on Cleveland. But yeah, we got to take this one.
All right, should we take a look at number 4?
Yep.
All right, number 4, we have San Francisco. They're getting 4.5, and they're at home, except they're playing a pretty talented team without their star, without their quarterback, Cincinnati with Dalton. And now they're going to A.J. McCarron. What do you see here?
We got to take the 4.5 or better here at home. San Francisco at home's actually done pretty well. They have some big wins. And we saw last week how much Dalton's injury really hurt this team. I mean, they were kind of struggling at the beginning, but once McCarron came in, the live line just shot up. You saw Pittsburgh favored by double digits pretty much the entire game. And without Dalton, I don't see how they can, on the road, even with the rest of the team being pretty good, I don't see how they can lay more than 3 here. I think it's a clear value play. We're going to take Frisco. Also, let's do some money line. This is one thing, too, that I hope everybody's doing is also grabbing the money line. We released the pick with the spread, but also you should have a money line bet as well if you have a good price to the going rate.
And that's the key. You have to know what is a good price, or probably don't do it. Don't just blindly bet it. If it's plus 4.5 and your money line is only plus 140, that's a pretty bad price. So you want to make sure the lines and the prices that you get, hopefully you can shop around. You're not just stuck with whatever's given to you.
Yeah, he's right. Guys, listen to us. We know what we're doing.
Number 3?
Yeah.
Okay, number 3, we have Kansas City. They're at Baltimore. Baltimore getting over a touchdown here, 7.5. Who do you like here?
We got to take the Ravens here. Kansas City, you saw last week they really struggled to move the ball. They aren't really this high-powered offense that people think that they are. And Baltimore, this line too, the reason it's so high, whenever you get more than 7 at home against a struggling offense, you kind of look to play that side. What you've heard is whispers of Baltimore is not really going to try. They don't care. They definitely care. They even brought in Mallett. He's been studying the offense all week. So I have a feeling we might see him. Schaub's questionable. And then Clausen, it's pretty scary if he's the one that's going to be starting. But it's more of a play against Kansas City. Sure, they're a dominant home team. They've also been running hot lately. But all of these factors and getting a half point more than 7-2 really create a good value bet here. Also, the money line. If you can shop around and find that, always look at all your options. Some first halves too, if you can find a good angle there.
And when you say they've been running hot, being Kansas City, they really didn't run that hot last week because you had San Diego in that game getting 10.5. And if all you got was the 10.5, you would have covered because they only scored 10.
Yeah, so in these situations, you really want to look to go against that team, especially at home. Great spot.
All right, Dave, we ready for our number 2 pick of the week?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Carolina, 13-0. Those 72 Dolphins, they're still a little nervous here because, maybe Carolina could go the distance. They're looking pretty good, but they have a problem. They're at the Giants, and the Giants, to me, by far the best losing record team. They're kind of like Pittsburgh. The Giants to me, so-so kind of teams by record, but oh my gosh, I wouldn't want my favorite team playing the Giants or Pittsburgh because these two teams, just look like they could beat anybody at any time. So you have 5.5 points at home with the Giants, but Carolina, they're 13-0. What are you thinking here?
It's a clear value spot. The Giants, basically the line is based upon the Giants having the losing record, but it has come down to the wire so many times with this team and some very questionable coaching decisions. Washington caught them in a perfect spot. Washington was at home coming off the bye, so it's really tough to win in that environment. They barely lost to New England by one, I believe. And the other one is the Jets. They had the double-digit lead in the fourth quarter, and they shoot themselves in the foot. But I really think they're going to be up for this game. Even coming off the short week, I think 5.5 here is just way too many for what I still consider to be one of the stronger teams in the NFL. So this is kind of the theme too. We're getting these good home dogs getting more than 3, and then in the other one more than 7. This is where the value lies. And especially going against Carolina, who has all the hype, all the pressure, I really think that plus 5.5 here is a huge play, or better. Also some money line value. Look to grab some money line value because the streak might be coming to an end this week.
Okay, you've heard it here first. Let's move to our number one pick of the week. We have Arizona, 11-2. Pretty good record, 11-2. You can't really, knock that. Going against Philadelphia, who's been playing a little bit better as of late. They're 6-7, but they're looking a little sharper. Quarterback's doing a little bit better, kind of, getting the groove with the team now, and they're 3.5 points at home. What do you like?
Wow, this one too. I know I was saying I was going to be bullish on Philadelphia and that I saw serious value. For a few weeks now, I've really been hammering them, money line, everything. Here, the early line on this game was 3.5. And so we had kind of the double positive for our side happen. Arizona lost to Minnesota. Philadelphia got the win, and basically a pick'em game. They beat Buffalo. So what happens in these spots is that 3.5 should go down to like 2 pick'em, somewhere around there. They just can't do it, guys, because Arizona, all the money's been coming in on them. They opened as a 7-point favorite at home against Minnesota. It got bet up all the way to 11. So thank God for the bookmakers that Minnesota won that game and that they didn't cover that. So they're opening this extra high, anticipating this money coming in once again on Arizona. So we've got to grab this value. You got to grab it now. Philadelphia is a serious team. They just weren't clicking early in the season. The defense was gassed. I use that logic every week, but it's the truth. What happens is you get a bunch of basically a bunch of good players together, and they just don't click. They've really found it. This defense is amazing. With all these factors, this is the number one play by far. Dave Miller is super bullish on the Eagles. Remember where you heard it first.
So there you have it, guys. There's Week 15's top 5 at monsterev.com. Check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube.